There are moments with a cat that defy logical explanation. You're sitting in silence, weighed down by thoughts you haven't spoken aloud, when your cat appears from nowhere, settles beside you, and begins to purr. Not because they want food, not because they want play, simply because in that moment you needed them. Coincidence? Perhaps. But what if it's something more? What if the cat sleeping on your chest, the one who seems to appear when you're sad, the one who stares at empty corners as if seeing things you can't? What if they're not just a pet? What if they're a messenger? Across cultures and throughout history, cats have occupied a unique space in human spirituality. Ancient Egyptians worshipped them as divine guardians. Medieval mystics saw them as bridges between worlds. Indigenous traditions honored them as spiritual protectors. And today, millions of cat owners report experiences with their feline companions that feel sacred. Not religious necessarily, but sacred nonetheless. Today, we're exploring a question that has quietly haunted cat lovers for centuries. Why did God send you a cat? What if the feline in your life isn't random? What if their presence carries meaning far deeper than companionship? Let's journey together into the mystical, the mysterious, and the profoundly spiritual connection between humans and the cats who choose them. 1. Companionship in solitude. There's a specific kind of loneliness that cats are uniquely equipped to address. Not the loneliness of being alone. That can be managed, but the loneliness of being alone with thoughts that feel too heavy to carry. Cats excel at companionable silence. They don't demand conversation. They don't require entertainment. They simply inhabit the same space as you, offering their quiet presence as a container for whatever you're processing. In spiritual traditions across the world, solitude is valued as a path to deeper connection. But solitude doesn't always mean being alone. Sometimes it means being with another being who doesn't disrupt your inner quiet. Cats are masters of this. They sit with you without demanding anything from you, allowing you to descend into your own depths, while their gentle presence anchors you to the world. This is why so many people report that their cats appeared during periods of profound aloneness. Not necessarily physical aloneness, though often that too, but emotional aloneness. Times when they felt misunderstood, unseen, adrift. And then a cat appeared, and suddenly they weren't quite so alone anymore. Was this coincidence? Was this random? Or was something deeper at work, placing a creature of quiet companionship in the path of someone who desperately needed exactly that? 2. Mindfulness and presence. Watch a cat bask in a sunbeam. Really watch. They don't check their phones. They don't worry about what happened yesterday or dread what might happen tomorrow. They simply absorb the warmth, fully present in the simple miracle of warmth itself. Cats are masters of mindfulness, though they'd never use that word. They inhabit each moment completely, whether they're stalking a toy, grooming a paw, or simply staring out a window at leaves blowing in the wind. Their attention is total. Their presence is absolute. For humans, perpetually trapped between past regrets and future anxieties, cats offer a living example of another way to be. When you watch your cat, you're watching a creature who has mastered the art of now. They don't ruminate. They don't catastrophize. They don't spiral into worry about things they can't control. And when you engage with them, when you pause to watch them play, when you stroke their fur mindfully, when you simply sit beside them in silence, they draw you into their state of presence. For those moments, you're not worrying about work or relationships or the state of the world. You're simply there with them in the warm glow of shared existence. This is why cats make such excellent companions for meditation, for prayer, for quiet reflection. Their natural state of presence creates a container within which we can access our own. When we slow down to their pace, we remember what we've forgotten, that life happens only in the present moment, and the present moment is enough. Cats don't teach this lesson through lectures or instruction. They teach it simply by being who they are, inviting us to join them in the only moment that truly exists. 3. Spiritual guardians and healers. There is something about a cat's presence that feels protective. Not in the way a dog guards a door, but in a quieter, more mysterious way. Cats seem to watch over not just our physical space, but something less tangible. Our energy, our spirit, our emotional state. Throughout human history, cats have been revered as sacred beings with connections to realms beyond our ordinary perception. Ancient Egyptians believed cats carried divine energy, serving as living links between the human world and the realm of the gods. In many spiritual traditions, Cats are seen as guardians of the threshold, creatures capable of moving between visible and invisible worlds. What does this mean for you, the modern cat owner? Consider the times your cat has sat quietly beside you during moments of emotional turmoil. Consider how they seem to appear when you're processing something difficult, settling nearby as if standing vigil over your spirit. Consider the deep peace that washes over you when they curl on your chest and purr. Many spiritual thinkers believe cats serve as energetic cleansers. According to this perspective, when your cat rests in certain areas of your home, when they sleep on specific parts of your body, they may be doing more than seeking comfort. They may be transmuting negative energy, absorbing what weighs you down, and transforming it through their mysterious feline alchemy. The purr itself is a phenomenon scientists still don't fully understand. It vibrates at frequencies between 20 and 140 Hz, frequencies known to promote tissue regeneration, reduce pain, and accelerate healing. Is it coincidence that cats purr most intensely when their humans are stressed, sick, or emotionally wounded? Or is something deeper at work? Whether you believe in energetic healing or not, the effect is undeniable. In the presence of a cat, something in us settles. Something softens. Something heals. 4. Teaching acceptance and non-judgment. Perhaps the most profound spiritual gift cats offer is their complete, unconditional acceptance of who you are. Your cat doesn't care about your appearance. They don't judge your career choices. They don't critique your parenting style or question your life decisions. They don't hold grudges about mistakes you made yesterday. They don't worry about whether you're good enough, successful enough, worthy enough. They simply accept you completely as you are. In a world saturated with judgment, both from others and from ourselves, this radical acceptance is nothing short of sacred. Your cat doesn't need you to be different. They don't need you to improve, to achieve, to become. They need you to be present, to be gentle, to be theirs. This acceptance becomes a mirror. When your cat looks at you with those soft, trusting eyes, you're invited to see yourself as they see you, worthy of love exactly as you are. If this creature, with their refined instincts and their uncanny perception, chooses to love you, perhaps you are lovable. Perhaps you always were. Cats don't offer conditional love. They don't love you because you feed them, though food helps. They don't love you because you provide shelter, though shelter matters. They love you because, in their mysterious feline way, they've chosen you. And that choice has nothing to do with your qualifications and everything to do with something deeper. Learning to accept their love is practice for accepting divine love. Learning to see yourself through their eyes is practice for seeing yourself as you're truly seen, not through the filter of your failures, but through the lens of pure unconditional acceptance. 5. Independence and self-care. There's a paradox at the heart of living with cats. They depend on us for everything, yet they maintain an air of fierce independence that seems to say, I choose to be here, but I don't need to be here. This paradox contains a profound spiritual lesson. Cats remind us that love and dependence are not the same thing. A cat can love you deeply while also maintaining their own boundaries, their own space, their own sense of self. They don't dissolve into you. They don't lose themselves in devotion. They remain fully themselves, while also choosing connection with you. For many people, especially those prone to people-pleasing, to losing themselves in relationships, to neglecting their own needs in service of others, cats model a healthier way. They demonstrate that you can love without losing yourself, that boundaries are not rejection, that self-care is not selfishness. Watch how a cat attends to their own needs. They groom themselves thoroughly. They sleep when tired. They stretch when stiff. They seek warmth when cold, solitude when overwhelmed, play when energized. They don't apologize for any of it. They simply care for themselves as naturally as breathing. Living with a cat, we absorb this lesson by osmosis. We see them prioritize their well-being, and we're gently reminded to prioritize our own. We witness their boundaries, and we learn that boundaries are sacred. We observe their self-sufficiency, and we remember that we too are complete within ourselves, even as we choose connection with others. The cat's independence isn't a rejection of relationship. It's a prerequisite for healthy relationship. And in teaching us this, they offer one of the most valuable spiritual lessons we'll ever receive. 6. Lessons in patience and responsibility. Cats have a remarkable way of testing our patience. They knock items off shelves at 3 a.m. They demand attention precisely when we're busiest. They exhibit an independence that can feel like indifference. And in doing so, they become unexpected spiritual teachers. The very qualities that frustrate us about cats, their stubbornness, their mysterious moods, their refusal to perform on command, become mirrors reflecting our own edges. A cat doesn't care about your schedule. A cat doesn't perform for your approval. A cat simply is, fully and unapologetically, at every moment. Caring for a cat requires showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Feeding them when you're exhausted. Cleaning their space when you'd rather rest. Providing medical care when they can't understand why you're hurting them to help them. These small daily acts of devotion cultivate something profound within us, the capacity for unconditional care. And here's the spiritual truth hidden in those mundane tasks. Learning to love something that doesn't always love you back in obvious ways prepares you for the deepest forms of spiritual love. Cats teach us to give without expecting return, to care without demanding reciprocity, to show up consistently even when the feedback is ambiguous. This is not unlike the relationship many spiritual traditions describe between humans and the divine. A love that persists regardless of whether we feel its presence, a devotion that continues even in silence. Through your cat, you may be practicing something far greater than pet ownership. You may be training your soul in the art of unconditional love. 7. Enhancing intuition and spiritual connection. Have you ever noticed how cats seem to know things they shouldn't know? They know when you're about to come home before you arrive. They know when you're sad before you've cried. They know which visitors to trust and which to avoid, often with uncanny accuracy. Cats operate on frequencies humans have largely forgotten how to access. They read energy, not just behavior. They sense intention, not just action. They perceive the invisible currents that flow between living beings. Currents we've trained ourselves to ignore. Living with a cat can reawaken these dormant capacities in you. When you watch your cat respond to something you can't see, you begin to wonder what they're perceiving. When you notice them reacting to your emotional state before you've expressed it, you start to trust that such perception is real. When you follow their cues, avoiding someone they distrust, staying somewhere they find peaceful, you're practicing a form of intuitive living. Many spiritual traditions believe that cats serve as bridges between the visible and invisible worlds. They see what we cannot see. They know what we cannot know, and by living alongside them, we gain access, however partial, to their expanded perception. This isn't about believing in the supernatural. Well, it's about acknowledging that reality is wider and deeper than our limited human senses can access. Cats remind us of this daily. They are living proof that the world is more mysterious than we think. When you learn to trust your cat's intuition, you also learn to trust your own. Those gut feelings you've dismissed, that inexplicable knowing you've ignored, your cat hasn't ignored theirs. And in witnessing their trust in unseen knowing, you're invited to trust your own. 8. Emotional support and healing. There's a reason cats appear so frequently in therapeutic settings, in hospitals and nursing homes, in the bedrooms of those struggling with depression and anxiety. It's not just because they're soft and cute. It's because they possess an almost uncanny ability to sense emotional distress and respond to it. How many times has your cat appeared at your side during a moment of private sorrow? How many times have you cried alone only to feel a gentle headbutt, a soft purr, a warm weight settling against you? Cats don't need to understand the specifics of your pain to respond to it. They feel the energy of it, and they offer themselves as comfort. Science confirms what cat lovers have always known. Interacting with cats releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the love chemical, in both human and feline brains. When you and your cat gaze at each other, when you stroke their fur, when you simply share space in companionable silence, your bodies are literally producing chemicals that promote trust, relaxation, and emotional connection. The purr itself has measurable physiological effects on humans. Studies have shown that exposure to purring frequencies can lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, and even decrease the risk of heart attack. Your cat's rumble isn't just cute, it's therapeutic. But beyond the measurable science lies something harder to quantify. The feeling of being truly seen by a creature who expects nothing from you but your presence. In a world that constantly demands performance, productivity, and perfection, a cat offers the radical gift of acceptance. They don't care about your accomplishments. They don't judge your failures. They simply want to be with you. That kind of unconditional emotional support is rare, and when it comes from a creature many dismiss as aloof or indifferent, it feels nothing short of miraculous. 9. Physical health and well-being. The spiritual and physical are not separate. though we often treat them as if they are. Your cat's impact on your life is not merely emotional or mystical, it's measurable, biological, undeniably physical. Study after study has demonstrated that cat ownership correlates with better health outcomes, lower blood pressure, reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, stronger immune function, faster recovery from illness and surgery. These aren't spiritual claims, they're scientific facts. Why? Partly because cats reduce stress, and stress is a physiological toxin. Partly because they encourage activity, even lazy play is movement, and movement is medicine. Partly because they provide companionship, and companionship buffers against the physical toll of loneliness. But there may be something more mysterious at work as well. The frequencies of a cat's purr, 20 to 140 Hz, fall within ranges known to promote bone density, tissue regeneration, and pain relief. When your cat purrs on your chest, they may quite literally be healing you at a cellular level. This isn't mysticism, it's bioacoustics. The same frequencies used in therapeutic ultrasound devices occur naturally in your cat's throat. For thousands of years, humans have benefited from this without understanding why. Now, science is beginning to catch up to what cat lovers always knew. Something about being near a cat makes us physically healthier. Whether you attribute this to divine design or evolutionary coincidence, the result is the same. Your cat isn't just your companion. They're your healer, working on you at frequencies you can feel but cannot see. 10. Connection to the divine. And so we arrive at the question that has quietly undergirded everything we've discussed. Is your cat's presence in your life random, or is it meaningful? Are they simply pets, or are they something more? Throughout human history, cultures around the world have answered this question in ways that point toward all the safe kindness and faithfulness of the human being. And the real kindness and faithfulness is the safe kindness of human being. It points toward the presence of the universe, safe kindness of humans, or safe kindness of faith. Ancient Egyptians saw cats as living embodiments of the goddess Bastet, protectors of the home, guardians against evil, bearers of divine feminine energy. In Islamic tradition, cats are honored as clean animals, worthy of respect and care. The Prophet Muhammad himself was said to have such love for cats that he once cut off his sleeve rather than disturb a sleeping cat. In Celtic spirituality, cats were seen as threshold guardians, creatures capable of moving between worlds, protecting humans from malevolent spirits while guiding them toward deeper wisdom. In Hindu tradition, the cat is associated with the goddess Shashti, protector of children and bestower of blessings. These traditions, separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, independently arrived at a similar conclusion. Cats are not ordinary animals. They carry something sacred. They connect us to something beyond ourselves. Whether you call that something God or spirit or simply the mysterious, the experience is the same. In the presence of a cat, we feel closer to the divine, more peaceful, more open, more connected. Perhaps that's why your cat came to you, not by accident, not randomly, but because something in the universe, something wise, something loving, something that knows you deeply, decided you needed exactly what only a cat can offer.